My name is Michelle Honora, and I am a published author and owner of M&O Media. I write and produce books independently, and I am seeking your help to fund my next project called Remember Me. Remember Me is the story about a young woman named Kristen Tyverson. Basically, Kristen has led a really charmed life. She is married with 3 kids. She has a successful career as a journalist. Um, and then one day, everything takes a dramatic change. Basically, she is reporting in Afghanistan, and while she is reporting there, a bomb goes off, and she's severely injured. Um, Her family mistakes her for dead. Well, they presume that she's dead, and everyone has mourned her passing, and it turns out that she, in fact, survived, but she has no recollection of her past. She only remembers her latest memory was from more than 11 years ago. So it's a story about really trying to put the pieces of her life back together, even though she has no clue what her life has been for over a decade. At this point, she wakes up, and rather than knowing that she's a wife and a mom and a successful journalist, she still thinks that she's a 26-year-old virgin who has yet to meet her husband, who's just getting started in the field of journalism. And she's basically reverted back to where she was 11 years ago. It's a really fascinating story because we're exploring not just how this affects her, but how it affects her family. How does it feel to have your mother have no recollection of who you are? How does it feel to have your wife, who you adore, have no recollection of ever meeting you? It's a story that is not just focused on the character of Kristen, but also her husband, her children, and the people around her. And it explores how she pieces her life back together day by day, bit by bit. So yeah, that's Remember Me in a nutshell. I get that question a lot. The Vow, to be honest, when I first got inspired to write this story, I had never even heard of The Vow. And some people might not believe me, but honestly, whenever somebody mentions The Vow, I just like, because I honestly thought of this idea prior to hearing about it. The Vow, it's still different from The Vow. Basically, in The Vow, the character she wakes up and she's undergone a lot of changes in a very short amount of time. She is married, she's estranged from her family. A lot of stuff happens in The Vow in a very short amount of time, whereas in Remember Me, Kristen, the reason why the change is so dramatic for her is because she's missing 11 years of information. She didn't have a whole bunch of life changes all at once that she just can't remember for the past year and a half or 2 years, but has literally forgotten milestone after milestone after milestone that would happen in anybody's life. If 10 years elapses in somebody's life, they're bound to do things like get married or have career changes or promotions or children. So yeah, it's very different in that the time frame of her memory loss is much wider, and she's not just dealing with reuniting with the spouse, but she's also dealing with reuniting with her children. Um, these infants that came from her body that she can't even remember having. So it's very different from The Vow, and I'm going to be honest, I actually haven't seen the movie. I've only read the synopsis of it and have heard what my friends have told me because I don't want to be influenced by this movie in particular. But from what I understand and what I've heard, it's very different from The Vow. I need funding for a couple of reasons. I am an independent author. I don't work with major publishing houses. I'm not signed with HarperCollins or Simon and Schuster. I'm an independent publisher and author. And so all the work that I produce, it has my stamp on it 100%. I need the funds for several reasons. The first one is after I write it, I need to have someone edit it. I need someone to look through it with a fine-tooth comb, and that doesn't come for free. The money that will be raised is going towards the editing. It's going towards the cost of finding a cover or getting a designer to cover the work. It's going towards promoting the book. It's also going towards things that most people don't think about when a book is published. So, for example, reserving an ISBN, reserving registration fees for actually selling it on Amazon and Barnes and Noble and different distribution platforms. Most of it will be going towards marketing, to be honest, though. A great deal of the funds will be going towards Goodread campaigns, advertisements, different platforms. I basically have a marketing plan that I have in place, and I already know which companies that I want to work with and which contractors I want to use, but they all have a price tag, and I need the funds to work with them.
Will you succeed?
Yes. That was a poster from my latest book called Type N. I had a huge event for it. You can bring it back to me. And that was my latest release. I actually did a Kickstarter. I funded Type N with a Kickstarter program. This is Type N. This was the latest book that I released under M&O Media. Back in the summer of this year, actually, Type N became a bestseller on Amazon. It hit the number one. It hit the number one spot on Amazon for science fiction action and science fiction romance. Remember Me is not a science fiction book, but I've had success in the past, and I believe that I can achieve it again. I was inspired to write this actually after watching an episode of The Walking Dead. For those of you who know The Walking Dead, he's reunited with his family, and there's that scene where his son and his wife realize that he's alive because they thought that he was dead. And when I saw that scene, I just remember thinking, what if he didn't remember them? What would happen then? And then that what if question sort of blew up into, what if he was a woman? What if he was a black woman? What if the roles were reversed? What if they had not just one kid, but three? How would the family dynamics work? And what if it wasn't in a zombie apocalypse situation? So it's sort of just blew up from there, from a really innocuous experience like watching The Walking Dead. So far, my favorite character from Remember Me is Mark Tyberson, and that is Kristen Tyberson's husband. He gets thrown a huge monkey wrench when his wife comes back and she has no idea who he is. And he has 3 kids that he's taking care of and helping adjust to this whole situation. But the way that I'm writing Mark at this point is that he's incredibly patient. And incredibly loving, and he adores his wife. He wants nothing more than to be with her, and he's actually just grateful that he's reunited with her. He's willing to take on the task of helping her remember and dealing with her frustrations of not remembering him. And honestly, I came up with the title Remember Me mostly for him, because that's his biggest desire, is for her to remember him. Well, besides getting fuzzy feelings for supporting such a fabulous cause, you will get some actually really decent rewards. I really was intentional about choosing each reward amount, and trying to make it worth your while. So at this point, the lowest reward amount is $5, and right for that amount, you're actually getting a digital copy of Type N. It's not the book that we're trying to get funded right now, but it's my latest release, and it's actually received quite a lot of good reviews, and that's just where it starts. So for $10, you will actually get a digital copy of this book, and it just goes up from there where the perks increase. But yeah, if you choose to fund this project, it will make it worth your while. And at the end of the day, you're supporting something that is really good. I think that this story needs to be told. I think that that it's a really entertaining piece of literature, and it's not just some sort of chick flick or chick lit type of deal. It's something that really explores the heart of a family and the resilience of human nature.